I recently made a video about the stupidest things kids have done to just throw a tantrum or cry, and wow, was that an amazing thread. Kids are insane. So I decided to ask the adults, what's the stupidest reason they've burst into tears? Probably the fact I cry every single time a radio station gives something away for free. We're going to give Joan a car because she's been a top-notch netball coach for the local kids team. Then I'm sitting at a set of lights, sobbing, weeping in my car. That's so beautiful. Good on you, Joan. I dropped a spoon and went to pick it up, only to drop it another 3 times. And so I threw it in the sink, only for it to bounce onto the countertop and fall on the floor again. That's frustrating. I like that you cried. Like, that actually brought you to tears. When I'm tired and drop my 15-year-old son off at school, I cry all the way to work, even though I don't like him. Elaine, those tears make me think that you love your son, but you just don't want to admit to it, because he's probably a real pain in the ass. I cried because I accidentally bought caged eggs instead of free-ranged and was sad for the caged chickens. Oh. But you still cooked those eggs and you enjoyed them thoroughly. I cry every time I'm reminded of Patrick Reed's untimely and unjustified death on Offspring. It's probably been 5 years now. I have progressed from the ugly sobbing days though, so that's a win. My mum was hysterically crying on the floor one day surrounded in Tupperware because she couldn't find matching lids. Wouldn't that be just a terrifying sight to come home from school and see mum in the fetal position on the floor with just open Tupperware everywhere and she just can't find the right lids? I don't think the tears are just from the Tupperware, something else is going on. Dawn says, I thought I'd put our tiny kittens in the washing machine. I was pregnant and ditzy at the time because they had been playing on a pile in the floor near the laundry when I was loading it. And then I couldn't find them anywhere. I turned the machine off when I realised and I felt sick. So I called my husband. He had to come home and empty the washer because I couldn't bear to look or even go in the same room. I was absolutely distraught. However, they were just asleep in the garden. Someone threw a water bomb at me and knocked it. This is a good one. This is a perfectly acceptable reason to cry. Someone threw a water bomb at me and knocked my tacos out of my hand. A true tragedy. But you spend so much time building the perfect tacos and then it's just all gone. I was pregnant and taking my $7 Woolies fresh cream sponge cake out of the fridge. My fat fingers slipped and I dropped the whole thing onto the floor. I sat on the floor crying like I was at a funeral and proceeded to eat some of the cream off the floor to calm my emotions. Oh, this is such a great image. I called my husband in a state and he was so worried. When I told him what happened, he tried not to laugh, but I could just feel that he wasn't taking my pain seriously and it made me burst into tears even more. This is relatable. She says, I sneezed and shit myself, so I cried. I was pregnant with my second child, and I cried when I found out that the otters hold hands so they don't float away from each other. And I thought, oh, how beautiful it would be if we all just held hands and we were cute and could float and stuff. But I couldn't float because I was so fat. Watching the grade 6s leave for camp, and my child wasn't even in grade 6 or going to camp at the time. The ones that start with I was pregnant, it's just like an excuse. You can be like, absolutely, you can cry at dropping a cake on the floor, but then there's ones like watching other people's kids leave to go away on camp. Maybe that's something parents understand. You have to be a parent and you feel for the other parents. Wouldn't you feel joy knowing that your kid was going to be away for a couple of days? I cried the other night because I was worrying about how I would have gotten off the Titanic. I cried because I couldn't get the fitted sheet on my bed. I was pregnant and watching a commercial about a guide dog having its training. It walked past a field and was watching the other dogs playing, but it had an important job to do, so it couldn't play with them. I was pretty much hysterical over this poor dog who couldn't play with his friends that day. When I was sick and I took a huge gulp of milk to swallow the tablets in my mouth, but then I sneezed before I had a chance to swallow and the milk sprayed all over the kitchen window. I'm pretty sure I screamed a bunch of profanity and then flounced into bed, but I had to get up 10 minutes later to clean up because I knew it would be baked on later if I didn't. I was pregnant and overdue, and my husband was winning in Monopoly. He had houses and hotels on all his properties, and I couldn't pay, so I sobbed and said, "Why are you being so mean to me?" While pregnant, I cried for a 45-minute car trip because I didn't get to wash my hands after patting a dirty dog. My husband asked me what was wrong, and I started howling and saying, "Dirty dog hands." I was heavily pregnant and needed to use the bathroom. I lowered my pants, sat down and began doing my business when I felt something tight around my waist. I looked down and realised I'd left my underwear on and I essentially pissed myself. And then I burst out into tears. This is from Georgie. She says, "I'm reading all these comments and pregnancy has a lot to answer for. When I was pregnant, I couldn't stop crying hysterically because my cat looked so peaceful napping on the windowsill in the sun. I saw a dog press the button to cross the road once. I cried in the car for a couple of minutes." Oh, it's cute though. Dogs doing human things is cute. I dropped a bottle of milk in the supermarket and burst into tears. The irony was not lost on me. I was hysterically crying while walking to the train station because I was informed by a friend that she had eaten my chicken curry that I cooked the night before. A lady pulled over and asked if I was okay and wouldn't leave me till I told her what was wrong. She was not too impressed with the situation. I was pregnant at the time and watching The Simpsons, and Bart was nice to Lisa. Oh yeah, but those scenes where Bart's nice to Lisa, that is, I cry. I cry watching that. I was 33 weeks pregnant and was going to hop into bed for the night and walked into the room to the aroma of my husband's farts. I'm just not emotionally equipped to deal with such things. We were on a 2-hour-long drive. I was pregnant, oh, what a surprise, and hungry, and my husband was being cheap and wouldn't stop for food. I started crying. When he asked me what was wrong, I started ugly crying. Then he finally pulled over and bought me food. Oh, it's not funny to laugh at this one. This one is not okay to laugh at, but it's really funny. After the breakdown of my relationship, I held it all together. I don't need no man. I'm a strong, independent woman. And then I couldn't open a jar of pickles. And I burst into tears. Oh, that's so sad. Oh, poor dear. My daughter had a lot of coins in her purse, making it heavy. So I swapped them for a note to lighten her load. She then started to cry because she had no coins. She was 23. How emotional pregnant women got. Like, I've worked with pregnant women, but they weren't ever so emotional. I'm currently 33 weeks pregnant. Everything makes me cry. Mostly for dumb reasons. Of all the things I've cried over lately, though, it's mainly my dog. I cried because I saw a puddle and it reminded me how he likes to drink puddles when we're when we're out on walks. Oh my God, this is so amazing. When I was pregnant with my first child, I decided I wanted chocolate-coated strawberries at the baby shower. Well, turns out I kept stuffing the chocolate up. It kept seizing, and I bawled my eyes out thinking, like, what sort of parent would I be if I couldn't even melt chocolate? had a bad baby brain and I couldn't get the TV remote to operate the microwave to cook my dinner. When I was pregnant, I thought my husband was going to eat one of my chicken nuggets. He didn't, but I thought he was going to. I cried when I finished the Harry Potter book series, and all through it, and then in the movies, and then when I saw the last movie knowing it was the last movie, and then when I went to the Wizarding World in Orlando. Oh God, that was fun. I liked the baby brain one. Trying to use the remote to operate the microwave is just such a great image. Maybe I ask that. What has baby brain made you do? I'll see if that gets any responses, because I feel like there's got to be some good ones.